welcome back, birches and bitches. We are talking about video games, talking about not TV, talking about maybe the politics of the country at hand. But look at that.
Visual media.
We're after the Game Awards. Geoff Keighley's Game Awards specifically.
J Free.
What's your name?
Benjamin Osiris to Benjamin.
And I'm Geron Osama Geron. And
that's his real name, actually.
No, it's not. So look, this is memory leak. Memory leaking on the floor, memory leaking on the side of the toilet, memory leaking everywhere. Look at that. And today, like I said, we're going to talk about fucking Game Awards. You have no choice, Benjamin.
I know you pulling up the list of shit.
You pull up the list of shit. I know you didn't pay full attention, but
yeah, I also joined halfway through.
Yeah, I'll say, overall, the reveals were cool. The awards don't mean anything to me. They did front load a lot of it, and they made very clear that a lot of this stuff isn't coming out in 2025.
The industry's favorite ad show.
Yeah, I mean, now that fucking now that E3's gone, this is a perfect place to reveal these trailers that for games that are years out.
The pretentious pretext of being an award show.
Yeah, let me just set the fucking record straight. If I didn't do this last time, award shows for games, especially, meaningless. Nothing. The games are the reason people enjoy video games and all that kind of stuff is. They're all different for a lot of different reasons. It's great that these games get attention, they get honored, they get whatever. But anyone upset about the awards or anything like that, psychos, actually insane.
I'm so mad that game didn't win.
I'm so mad that game for children. It's like
we need more transparency in the voting.
It's so insane. Like we'll get to talking about stuff like that, but as a whole, I think the fact that it's called the Game Awards makes everyone think this is it. Makes not everyone, but no, like regular people think this is the only one. When in reality, this is like just one of hundreds of Game of the Year awards that are coming out.
Isn't that one of them?
That's something like that. Yeah, IGN has their own shit. All the different outlets have their own Game of the Year shit.
I just want to get nominated for one of Jimmy Donaldson's awards.
Yeah, I want the fucking I want the moldy cheese award.
I want Beast of the Year award.
Breast of the Year? Breasts of the Year. Sorry. But I came at this mad, but I'm not really mad. I kind of barely want to talk about the actual awards though.
There's a few I think are worth.
There's a few that I think are worth talking about for sure. I don't think all of them are.
Based on the nature of what it is, the real meat of it was the reveals. And what does it mean? What does it mean for you?
Is that a question or is that a rhetorical?
It's both.
What does it mean for me?
I know what your number one reveal was.
Say it.
Turok
Origin. No, fucking. I think my real number one reveal was actually Virtua Fighter 6.
Interesting. Why?
Because we've been playing Virtua Fighter 5 since 2006.
We as in you and me?
Collectively. The world who's ever been playing the most modern Virtua Fighter game has been playing a variation of Virtua Fighter 5.
All right, but here's the thing. Is Virtua Fighter actually good?
Yes!
Or is it a meme?
Or is it a meme game? Fuck you. Okay. Let me set this straight.
I'm going to ask that a lot in this.
No. Let me set this straight real quick. One of the things I hate the most that Ben has been doing, especially recently, is saying, "Do people actually like this, or is it a meme game?"
You know exactly what I mean when I say it.
I know what you mean, but that shit, dog. That shit is fucking.
I don't need to elaborate.
No. That shit is so like, oh man, so reductive. Is it just a meme game? I'm like, bitch, no. People genuinely like this stuff. Let's go. Let's see what you're thinking.
You know that's what I'm asking.
I know that's what you're asking.
Is this a game with substance that holds up, that has more than beyond sharing shit online and jumping on the bandwagon? But that's what I'm talking about.
You ask that shit of games that I like.
I know
I'm not doing that shit.
Mostly as a joke. But it's a real question, especially nowadays, because people will talk about shit that they liked because nobody else got to play it, or because they're weird.
Okay,
we talked about this with the Dragon Quest game, Dragon Quest V.
Sure.
And
the
PS2 version of Dragon Quest V
yeah,
specifically.
Yeah, okay. That's the thing where people think that version is the best version mainly because it's so inaccessible.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand what you mean by that.
Is it really actually good thing, or people just like hopping on it for X, Y reasons unrelated to quality of game itself? That's what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna put a take out there that we're gonna get roasted by like the 4 people that might listen to this, including one. If he's listening to it right now, he's gonna be upset with me. Regardless of the actual quality of the game, you know it is a meme game.
What?
Black Myth Wukong.
I don't think it's a meme game.
I think it's a meme game. I think
why
vast majority of the people that really hype it up have not played it.
Oh, that's probably true.
Yeah.
I think that's true of Western audiences.
Sure,
Ironically, I think Black Myth Wukong was a DEI inclusion. Because the landscape of games made by Chinese developers has been, well, we saw it in the players' vote.
Yeah, holy shit, has been
very
fucking
weeb, very anime, very kind of like samey art
gacha
style.
Game,
a lot of
just
gacha.
all MiHoYo stuff.
There's a lot of revenue generating engines and less game.
Yeah.
Black Myth Wukong is at least a game. It's a serviceable game with qualities that are here and there, right?
Granted, I will say the gacha games that they release, they are games.
They are good. In fact, the game elements of it are competent for sure.
And a lot of times, they're more games than like the mobile stuff. I will say that.
Yeah, that's a real game.
That's a fucking real game. Like ZZ Top is a real game. The fucking
you mean Zenless Zone?
Yeah. And then fucking Honkai Star Rail.
Yeah,
appears to me to be a real game. I've not actually seen it played
as a turn-based
game,
strategy game.
But yeah, those also are just vehicles for people to feed money into.
It's a content engine,
right?
In addition to being a game.
That's true. Yeah. Just like Fortnite, we're not saying this is just a Chinese thing. This is something that
Black
many
Myth
developers
Wukong
do.
Being of a AAA semblance,
semblance
and presentation,
Christ.
That feels good to play is unique, coming from a Chinese developer.
In the time that we live in now,
yeah.
It's
I think it marks an inflection point. I think it's an important milestone. We're gonna look back at and be like, oh shit, this is when
the door opened. That's what I'm thinking. I think
that it's historically going to be important because of that, not because of the game in isolation.
Yeah, what it means for game development in the East, especially.
Exactly.
I will say, I think the
game is fine, by the way. I know you haven't touched it.
I have touched it. I have
since
touched it. I didn't play a lot of it, but I have since touched it.
It's fine. It's got skill trees.
I think
it's got moves. It's fun.
I don't want to
it's reasonably fun.
I don't want to parrot some shit that people on the internet say, but I do think it's like it's the definition of fine, like you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't think it does anything exceptionally well outside of.
I would agree, and I think
things about its visual presentation.
It definitely copies heavily from FromSoft.
Yeah, it copies from there, but it's quite different from a Souls game. From
no, it is
what the bit that I played of it. I mean, it's not like you don't spend as much time just using these heavy weighted attacks. You have a bunch of other shit. No, and you use the face buttons. You don't use the.
Well, I'm including Sekiro and.
But that's
FromSoft.
That's got a little bit of a heavier vibe to it too. It's just more precise thing going on. I consider
it feels very
precision.
Similar to me. Black Myth Wukong feels kind of similar to Sekiro. It feels like a worse Sekiro.
Okay, if you're gonna say worse, then yeah, I can agree with. And it's not like I said, it's fine. I think speaking of feel, I think the feel of the game is quite off.
Yeah.
I think it's
because we're comparing it to other games that have like iterated and enhanced and improved over the last 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, this game had time to figure out some things with the actual feel, and it feels like I am swinging a staff through shit a lot of the time, not
like
against
papery.
Shit. It feels like I'm swinging it through shit. And like that's not enough to carry me to the end of a game for $60-$70.
Yeah.
Granted, though, I do see what people see in it visually. I don't like it when any of the characters talk, English or Chinese. I do not care. I think they talk too much. But I think that game didn't. If we're gonna talk about Game of the Year shit, it was nominated for Game of the Year. I think it had absolutely zero chance of winning that. Absolute zero chance. Anyone upset that game didn't win is actually delusional. Like it could be their Game of the Year. That's cool. That's completely fine. I don't think if you're talking about a Game of the Year, you're not talking about that.
If you're talking about a panel of judges,
yeah,
looking at this stack ranking of games that came out this year and sort of like what they mean, how they play, how well polished they are,
right?
I would agree. The only one that I would say maybe it had a chance of beating would be Elden Ring: Shadow of the Earth.
Yeah, because that shouldn't have been there in the first place. Not that I'm trying to gatekeep, but the whole. I think in this particular regard, I think gatekeeping is okay. It's a fucking award show. I'm actually
really irritated that it was included.
Yeah,
and it's not even just a DLC thing. It's the combination of it's the DLC of a game that already won Game of the Year. It's a DLC that is completely inaccessible from touching until you're like 60 hours into the game.
Level,
and well, I guess that's pretty much it. That and the fact that it's just DLC in general.
Yeah.
So like I could see a case where DLC something along the lines of like Torna the Golden Country, where it's actually just its own.
It's kind of its own. It's mostly its own game.
Yeah, but you could actually buy it separately and play it separately.
Right. Yeah, they intend for you to do that if you only want that.
If Shadow of the Earth Tree was like that, even if there was some kind of linkage to the main game, I would have been more okay with it. Mm-hmm. But it just really fucking irked me. It seemed when they first announced that was going to be included, like, oh, they're saying all this now because it's probably going to win.
It's included so that it can win.
Right.
What the
Which is now it's just like, why is it there? Include it?
But now you just realize, oh, it was to fill a gap. It was to fill a slot. But they shouldn't have to fill slots. Yeah, you know what I mean? They shouldn't feel obligated to do that. This isn't the
Oscars. You don't need 10 nominees anymore.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it gave them an opportunity to play the fucking music again. Who knows?
I did really fucking like or Elden Ring going into Balatro.
Yeah,
the video game medley.
It's crazy that Balatro got to be in that medley. Actually, my game's
tight.
Like that.
So fucking tight.
I haven't even fucking played the game. So
you've never played Balatro?
Nope.
I guess that makes sense. That tracks. So I mean, let's just go through the awards and we can go through the announcements.
Yeah, we'll just do it rapid fire.
One, I'm gonna skip most of these.
Yeah, skip the inconsequential shit.
Oh, best adaptation going to Fallout was pretty mind-boggling.
I actually understand that because it's a pretty faithful adaptation of the vibe of actual Fallout. Whereas,
so you're making a distinction here that has never really been clarified.
Exactly, but that's why
faithfulness. If that is a parameter, I can understand it.
Yeah,
I don't think that should be a parameter. In fact, I actually think it should be the other direction. I think an adaptation that uses its media to be completely different,
be something different,
is a much better use of that adaptation.
And I honestly, I bet on the panel there were people that felt both ways.
I'm sure there were.
Also think that Todd Howard was probably on that fucking panel, but not to say. I also think a lot of like the Fallout show might make someone want to play Fallout. Whereas a lot of people watch Arcane as like, okay, I can watch this and not even fuck with the game.
I think there's a non-zero amount of people that watched Arcane that never touched League that then wanted to touch League.
They didn't wanted to see it. But then Arcane really had it's just not anything like League of Legends. You know what I mean?
Here's the other thing to consider.
Which is fine.
Riot has been making a very intentional push to make League the base upon which other things will grow. So even if you don't want to touch League, maybe you're going to go play Ruined King. Or you're going to go play Bandle Tales or whatever.
2XKO or something.
Yeah, right. So it's all linked.
So I think, if anything, it was probably pretty close.
The other thing that I'll mention,
yeah,
just because I feel like I need to mention it, is I think Arcane Season 1 was a lot better than Season 2.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a hot take.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that also I feel like might have played a part. I don't know if they were explicitly including Season 2, because I think Season 1 was over well over.
It was over a year ago. Yeah.
So if they're only talking about Season 2, then I actually might understand it. I didn't actually watch much of Fallout. I saw like the first 2 episodes.
I watched a couple episodes. Like, these are too fucking long for me right now.
Way too fucking long for what it is. It's way too long. I really like the first episode.
Yeah, the first episode's funny.
Left the vault.
Funny, not funny, haha, but like funny, like interesting, funny.
Yeah. What's also funny is the length that I made it in Fallout is like exactly the length that I make it in the game.
Yeah, I figured.
I go through the intro, I get to the open world, I'm like, I just don't really want to like touch this.
Yeah.
I don't really want to engage here. Moving right along. I don't really give a shit about any of this, but feel free to stop me. I'll turn around
turn it so I can also see it.
I feel like best sim/strategy going to Frostpunk 2 seemed like a bit of a upset.
I don't know anything about
people really like Unicorn Overlord.
True, but I like I said,
super
I don't
unique,
fucking know any
super polished. So
there's so many fucking video games. Best fighting game being Tekken 8. There was no other choice this year.
Multiverses.
Like, no. I cannot fucking believe Multiverse is on that fucking list again.
Yeah, the fact that it's on the list at all.
You know that shit won in 2022.
Insane.
It's absolute. That category is so fucked. But there was no other choice than Tekken 8 because Tekken 8 is of this list. It's new. It's complete. It's got a competitive following. Not that Grand Blue Fantasy Versus doesn't, but it's Tekken. Like Tekken 8 is complete. It's got single player stuff, it's got multiplayer stuff, it's got crossplay, it's got everything it needs to be a genuine winner of that category for anyone's award, in my opinion.
Right.
Best action game went to Black Myth, which is,
I mean, the other games on like Call of Duty action game.
So this year had a lot of games. At the same time, it didn't.
Right. It felt like a small year for some reason.
Things about the stuff that came out in this year didn't like neatly fit into categories.
Right.
You know, it was,
which is good, honestly.
Yeah. Like it wasn't the big fucking blowout where 2023 had fucking like Tears of the Kingdom, fucking Baldur's Gate, and you were just certain it was gonna be one of those. You know what I mean? You were absolutely certain one of those was gonna win the awards, and they both won awards. So,
did you catch this one? I didn't see this, but I'm curious to hear what the logic was.
Innovation and accessibility.
Yeah,
I did see that one. I actually voted for Lost Crown because it's the one I have.
I mean, I really like Lost Crown. I'm just curious about what is the accessibility angle.
Yeah, I would need to crack the game open and check. So the biggest thing about accessibility stuff is you have to really fuck with the options, and like The Last of Us, Masahiro Sakurai even brought up the Last of Us games having great accessibility features. And accessibility means different things to different people, different development teams, stuff like that. And it could simply mean the game is very playable, or it could mean this game is playable by people who cannot see, the people who cannot hear, people who cannot use a controller normally, things like that. And
I mean, I would need to go back and look at some of those options.
My assumption is the game has options that prevent you from having to like all the way down to stuff like
you still get the game experience, but you can do it in ways based on
but let's say
you need.
You don't remember how a fucking map works. There's like guides to help you with that too, as far as I understand, right?
I mean, you can turn on different layers of the map to make it like point you exactly where you need to go,
like,
which I actually use that a lot.
And that's also accessibility. I was like,
I don't want to fucking waste my time doing the old Metroidvania thing where it's like try to remember lost. Where I was. Just point me where I was.
Like some people can't do that shit. Some people don't have the not the attention span, but like they live in a home where other things are going on, where their attention needs to be somewhere else. They can't be filling their brain with the one fucking game's map. Right. You know? So I think that's also valuable. Like accessibility isn't all about the like the physically handicapped, the mentally handicapped. It's about everybody. That's why it's accessibility.
Making the game as playable as possible for all the scenarios and situations.
Right, for any amount of scenarios. And like maybe this is a bad take for me. I don't think from somebody who doesn't really need many of these features, like if there's stuff for hearing, I usually will fuck with it to see if it's something that helps me out. But sometimes I think it's up to the developer to decide if the challenge of their game requires certain things to not be quote unquote accessible. And in that case, that is their choice. It's also their choice to take the consequence of that. You know what I mean?
I feel like FromSoft is one of those people.
For people. Yeah, FromSoft is probably one of those
entities.
One of those companies where by their whole game is reducing accessibility, adding friction, and testing your patience. And the games aren't meant to be for everyone. And that's fine. That's completely fine. That is totally fine. Like I said, it's up to them to take the consequence of having a smaller player base, or having people be upset that they can't engage with the game for one reason or another.
Yep.
But yeah, it's
don't like,
it's valid
don't
to do
buy.
that. Yeah, I mean, really though. So okay.
Best performance, which did they always do this category?
They've had this category. The voice.
Senua Saga.
Yeah,
I mean, I would really like to play that.
I wanted. I mean, you bought it, didn't you?
I did buy it.
The page fucking refreshed again.
I really need to beat the first one though.
Oh, the first one. It's just a few hours. Yeah, it's just a few hours long. I think Hellblade 2 is the only one that could have won that, because the whole game is about that.
Right.
Not that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or what, but it's not really. That's not what it's there for. You know what I mean? Like, it's all those other games. It's good enough.
Right.
It's
not like the focal point of the game.
Exactly.
It's like it helps the immersion.
Yeah.
It helps the quality,
but
the production, but it's not the focal point.
The thing you're coming to remember.
Yeah,
like, you
same
could probably
with audio design.
You could probably play all those games on fucking mute and. Well, okay, maybe not, but you could probably play those games with the voices muted and still have a memorable experience.
In fact, I think that's one of the options in most of those games.
Yeah, so there you go.
I was happy that Rebirth won score and music.
Yeah.
As somebody that went and saw the live action score and music performed by an orchestra.
Yeah. Yeah, you have... What were the other...
Astrobot, Metaphor, Silent Hill 2, Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade, I was pretty intrigued by.
Stellar Blade has
I didn't realize the music was that good.
Stellar Blade has a funny. Stellar Blade has an interesting soundtrack, and half the time it doesn't match what's on the screen, which is that I mean, like.
That's fine.
But I like that as an idea, but I don't know if it was on purpose. I don't know how deliberate it was from what I've seen. I don't know.
Have you played Stellar Blade?
I've seen. I mean, I was gonna have to know something about it. I gotta know I gotta know what Jeremy's into. But.
I'd be curious to play it just for the experiment.
I want to see it. I don't really like it. It and Wukong have the same fucking problem.
Of how the action system is built.
They're built after the Souls games, where like the camera is centered right behind you,
right,
and your lock on puts the enemy right in the center of the screen. Like, not even Ocarina of Time did that shit. Ocarina of Time would kind of. Give you it would give you like a side view, and you know, when you rotated around each other, it was more cinematic. I wish games recognized that that's what it was doing. But like, even Beyond Good and Evil will do that. It'll do it. You don't have to deliberately lock on it. The lock on is automatic. But even then, it does it in a way that's like visually interesting, not just feels like an over the shoulder thing. Because that like centered shit reminds me of a PS2 game in a bad way, like third person shooters from that time where the crosshair is slightly above you.
Yeah.
Like, ugh, put that shit off to the side, please. Right. But yeah, it does that shit, and the combat is very grounded. And both Stellar Blade and Wukong have very simple in comparison to some other action games that y'all know I like.
I've been saying this.
Yeah,
I need you to give Sekiro a try.
Yeah.
Badly.
Yeah. We'll see.
It's gonna click at some point, and you're gonna fucking have an eyes wide open type moment.
Eyes wide shut moment. The hopefully the sales next week. It's cheap. It's like really cheap.
Yeah.
Because often it doesn't seem like it's been going down past like 30.
That's probably true.
Which is like, I don't know if I've got $30 to just try it and bounce off of it, but I have $15 to try it.
There you go.
But yeah, so Black Myth Wukong won that, which again should be fucking enough for
the
people.
Player's Voice.
Just for no, it won the action game.
Oh yeah. It also won Player's
Voice. It did win Player's Voice. But I have choice words about Wukong in a minute once we get a little.
Best game direction. I don't know how I felt about this category.
Let me see it.
At least the nominees. Because game direction to me is like the quintessential example would be like Hideo Kojima. It's where there's like you can see that there is a vision.
Yeah,
and the game is built to support
that specifically.
the vision. Like Death Stranding is the ultimate. Many of the Metal Gear Solid games are good examples of this. To me, Death Stranding is like the quintessential version of something that could win this, and I don't see that here in this list. This just feels like the good games of this year list.
This list, your bitch ass needs to play Killer 7, by the way.
I understand.
If you're gonna talk like that, you can't talk like that until you've played that fucking game, in my opinion.
You haven't played Death Stranding either.
I've played more of it than you played Killer 7. Played at least 10 hours of Death Stranding myself.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Oh. Did you get out of like the tutorial area?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I've been able to like do shit just that I want to do for a while in the game. I'm a decent way into the game. But bitch, that game direction category is very strange to talk about because it really is just like what game isn't meant to hold up the vision of the direction, not even just the director, but just specifically the people that are leading the project.
Like, Balatro is here because Balatro is like literally a one-person game.
And so there's not, it can't, but like what is game direction? What do they mean? And it's one of those things that tells me that this award show just has a lot of filler shit.
Yeah,
because it really didn't need that category. They could have said the same thing. I think all of these games are the game of the year fucking.
They are. It literally is a 1-for-1.
Yeah, it's just like who gives a fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a useless little category, especially since Astro Boy won it anyway.
Yeah.
Astrobot. I said Astro Boy.
Which Astrobot again is the perfect thing where it's like like if anything, I feel like Astrobot should not have won Best Game Direction because Astrobot is literally just like it's go play your platformer,
right?
You know what I mean?
It's like Super Mario.
It's just there literally to have fun.
Yeah, which is good. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing.
It's not like that doesn't have a direction, but it's also like the most aimless of the directions.
It's the most like
most nebulous.
Well, yeah, there you go. It's just a
non-concrete, abstract, I guess.
And I think what was I gonna say? Oh my god. The funniest thing about Astrobot is that a lot of people say that the game leans too much on nostalgia, and then in the same breath will say that Rebirth should have won it. I'm just like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, a game is a game, dog.
Yeah.
It's like new or based on an old thing. That's just how it is.
I actually think FF7 Rebirth doesn't really. I mean, it does rely on nostalgia.
Its existence does. The game itself is totally different than Final Fantasy VII. That's like,
but it's almost like the opposite of nostalgia. I don't really know how to describe it.
Like anti-nostalgia.
Yeah, it's almost like an anti-nostalgia thing
where it takes what you know and just kind of
because if you want the nostalgia of it, like you're gonna get some of it just because you're going to the same places, and it's like oh my God,
just the nature of
But if you're expecting a nostalgic experience. It's with the story, especially.
The game is deliberately telling you that.
You're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, this is not what you should be here for.
Those are the people that don't like the game.
Yeah, and it's like what am I trying to say? I actually really like when things do that because the older I get, the more I'm like, shit just has to change.
Yeah,
it's much easier nowadays to keep these old experiences around, despite everybody's like, all the hysteria about game preservation that people like to bring up.
Right.
Honestly, not like from me reading in the recent past, so this may just be my experience. Big games, easy to get. The big games that everyone likes, easy to get, if for the most part. When some random small game shows up, like on NSO or something like that, people are like, "Why is this here?" I'm like, do y'all want?
Why shouldn't it be there?
Yeah, like, do you understand that game preservation is everything, not just the stuff you like? Because if it's just the stuff you like, then you're good. You don't even need to talk about it anymore. Yeah. It's over. You're not worried about preservation. You're just worried about some company taking away games you already bought. But that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That hasn't really happened.
What they need to put on NSO.
What's that?
Big Sky Trooper.
A fucking oh my god.
Game that nobody that listens to this could be a million listener podcast. Nobody
not a single person would know what the fuck that is. But yeah. So he's looking something up on the.
I want to see Google search history over time of Big Sky Trooper.
Let's see it. I'm just speaking now, so you have something to listen to. Question.
We're talking about nostalgia FF7. What the fuck is this?
It's the fuck.
This is
it's literally the history
Google's
of Google.
history. Google search history over time. Is it trends?
Yeah, it's in trends. Look up. Yeah, there you
go. Past.
Doesn't have enough data.
Oh,
there it is.
Here we go.
Random
what does
spikes.
This mean?
What is
0? This is probably all me. There's a spike up to 100 in 2012, which actually tracks with my history because I probably tried to look it up after I graduated college and bought my copy. Nobody fucking knows what game this is. Straight up.
Yeah, I mean the searches don't seem to go. Is this on 100 or is this 100,000 or?
Number represents search interest relative to the highest point.
Just popularity.
Yeah, it's just general popularity.
Just the popularity of it.
Definitely not a lot of data
just nothing.
here.
There's no fucking numbers. There's not enough data for that.
Here's another data point. Let's check YouTube for like a long play.
Let's see it.
This is the one where you started a file in 2014 and you named it something bad.
That's right.
Is Big Sky Trooper worth playing today? 45,000 views 6 years ago. So 45,000 people at least know about it.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Just don't even.
This fucking fan art.
When you see stuff like that, you just gotta.
Crazy.
Gotta move on.
Who made this again? I think it was Hudson.
I don't remember.
Well, now we need to find out. Let's go to the intro. JVC. Which we see a lot of JVC on NSO.
Yeah.
So, oh shit.
LucasArts. Yeah. Oh my god.
That's really funny. So, there it is.
But
game preservation.
For real, genuinely, somebody has this game. Like somebody
I have this game.
I mean, not like I don't mean in a customer sense. I mean in a sense of somebody has
a game like this that
No. Someone on this planet has the data for this game from some developer.
That's not necessarily true.
It's not necessarily true, but I'm pretty sure that this random LucasArts game, someone's got it.
That's probably true.
Because it's LucasArts. Yeah. They hold on to their shit specifically to fuck with it. Not that they're going to fuck with this game, not that they're going to do anything with that, but I'm sure they've got it in a vault somewhere. Not like the Nintendo vault, but especially when Disney's got hands on shit now too.
You ever play Star Wars Droid Works?
No, I never played this shit. And I never will.
I kind of like this game. It's an edutainment game.
Yeah, that's okay. Not that edutainment games are bad or anything. It's just like I'm good.
Look at this. Look at all these awards it won. Star Wars Droid Works.
That's good.
We're really diverging here from the
path. I know.
So
let's see.
Game of the year.
On it.
Well, do we have anything else about the player's voice?
No, fucking no.
So Astrobot won Game of the Year. Let me tell you what's up. Astrobot, if I was the one picking here based on my own thoughts and biases, I probably would not have picked Astrobot, despite the fact that I did really like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it does enough uniquely.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of like a return to form type situation.
And I think that's partially
like
why
the politics
people even wanted to like that. Why that won in the first place?
Yeah,
I think it's a representation of the PlayStation brand being utilized for something more than
AAA hallway simulator.
Yeah, exactly. Something that is like anyone can play it age wise. It's not like an M-rated.
Right. It's got 2 buttons.
Cinematic experience. Yeah. It's got it's mostly focused on a couple of buttons. It utilizes the controller fully.
It does utilize controller more than any other game on PS5.
Yeah. It's all about like it's very much a representation of kind of what video games have been.
Yeah.
And that is plaything.
Right.
It's like everything, speaking of mobiles, actually, the whole thing is like a little like child's play set thing.
Yeah, one of those things where you had a bunch of little things you can touch
of little
and
tactile and sensory interactables, like the sounds, the feeling of the controller, the fucking,
and that is exactly everything. What it is.
And I think,
and I'm glad it won for those reasons.
Yeah, I think in like what you're saying, it's like a platformer that does a lot of stuff we've seen before.
Yeah.
But in fact, the what's it called? The speech they made even included thanking Nintendo.
Yeah,
it's funny. like duh, no shit.
I love the
fucking
meme
mechanics
of
from Mario Galaxy.
Fucking Phil sitting in the front seat just doing the Homelander meme in the movie theater.
Apparently he was
yeah, I'm sure he was.
He clapped for it.
I'm sure he was.
I know he knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And the fucking Doug Bowser were there too, and Nintendo didn't really have a presence at this particular thing, which is
keeping the connection.
It's bad to say. You may as well just be there to at a video game event. That's just
at conferences like that.
Yeah.
You don't spend if you don't have anything to contribute or get out of it. That's just how it works in corporate America.
Yeah. Like,
what's the ROI of going to this thing? If it's not existent, then you minimize the spend.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Astrobot, of the choices that were there, is the most like obvious that it was going. You know what I mean?
I don't agree with that.
Which one do you think would be more obvious?
So this is going to be a little bit of a. I know why it didn't win. But I think Metaphor ReFantazio. ReFantazio. I don't like ReFantazio. That feels fucking wrong.
Well, whatever.
I think that actually probably just knowing who was the people on the panels and things like that. Mm-hmm. I feel like that probably had the best chance of winning. That's what I would have, like, if I were a betting man that had $100 to spend on a bet, I would have bet Metaphor.
So I think that panel, especially because I know that panel is made up of a lot of game journalists too,
is too Western.
No, it's not that it's too Western. I think that one, some of them probably have a problem with Atlas, with how they present characters in some of the other games that they make, which I completely get.
Yeah, I get that too. I think they actually fixed that with this game.
Exactly. I do think that this game is them correcting it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also think that the game is very for as different as it is. We had Persona 3 Reload this year too.
I mean, but part of, to me, what makes Metaphor especially impressive is that it stands so much taller above all those other games in its genre.
Have you played it?
Yeah.
You played the demo?
I played the first 2 chapters.
Okay, yeah. I think in a lot of ways it feels like a sequel to games we played not that long ago, at least mechanically.
That's probably true.
Or people played not that long ago. Not to mention it looks like a fucking PS4 game. Yeah. And I think that definitely affected the opinions of at least some people on that panel. I think that it had probably the best chance of winning game. Like, it had a higher chance than fucking Black Myth Wukong.
That's what I meant when I was like, if I'm a betting man, this is what I would have put my bets on.
Yeah.
I think in terms of like trying to take my brain out of my body and put it into sort of like these objective categories of what makes a good game.
Yeah.
I think Metaphor did a lot of things the best compared to its competitors.
Yeah. The ads on this fucking site,
don't worry about it,
are so bad.
I know, it's I think it is a very good game. I would like to finish it.
Yeah.
I think we've been very blessed over the last
I'm just repeating the word.
We've been very fortunate this year and the past several years that the volume and quality of the JRPGs we've been getting have bbeen very high.
That's very true.
And Metaphor is no exception.
Yeah.
And I think that's also something worthy of calling out.
And I think the developers of a lot of the JRPGs that have been coming of those RPGs that have been coming out understand what they need to do fidelity wise to make a game what it is. Yeah. And like I said, Metaphor looks like a PS4 game to me.
To me, to its benefit.
Exactly. That's I don't disagree with that at all.
It's like the perfect Steam Deck game.
Yeah, like I kind of wish, I kind of wonder why it's not. Is it on PS4?
I don't know, actually.
Yeah, I kind of wonder why, if it's not on PS4, why it isn't. But at the same time, like the things the game does, the thing the game says, how it is stylistically, it abso-fucking-lutely does not need to. It looks like PS5 only. Yeah. It doesn't need to go fucking crazy with the hardware. It's.
Oh, it is.
What? Oh, it is.
It is on PS4.
Okay, perfect. Then, never mind. It is on PS4. So that means it reaches a bigger audience, and the message of the game is still presented no matter how you enjoy it. You know. Whereas like Astrobot, I would say, with everyone being like, where the fuck are the fucking next gen games? One of them's right there.
Yeah.
Like front and center. There's no debating it. It's crisp. It's clean. It uses the features. It's fun.
The
it's got
very
everything.
real political elements of awards show and throw them in the mix.
Yeah.
I understand why Metaphor lost. Like I understand completely why Astrobot is sitting here at the top of the list, and Metaphor probably didn't really have a very good shot actually in reality. But so there's a lot of ways to slice and dice it. If it were my personal selection in terms of what I think had like the things that I value most in games and what they bring to the industry, I would have actually picked Balatro.
You would have picked Balatro?
I would have picked Balatro.
Okay.
I think Balatro is far and away the most unique game on this list. It takes the idea of a roguelike and it does it in such a fresh way for a genre that has been so beat to death.
Yeah.
Or mechanics, I guess, that have been so beat to death.
Yeah. It's not a fucking like it's not the same kind of like deck builder. It's not the same kind of like action platformer.
It's not
that
a fucking poker game. Everybody looks at it and they're like,
it's not. It uses poker shit.
It's not even a
but
card
it's not
game.
even
To call it a card game is actually the most reductive thing I've heard people say about video games.
Yeah, that's just something that they have as a
yeah. Balatro is absolutely worth playing and touching by anybody and everybody, which is also part of why I like it so much. It's just like it's such a breath of fresh air, and the fact that it was made by one person, the fact that it's not graphically, it's like it's truly the most creative thing on this list, and it shows what you can do without having to fucking spend $100 billion on one title that you're working on for 15 years.
Yeah,
so
I think it being nominated at all is a pretty big deal.
I agree.
I think, and like I said, I think the winner of this particular category, the winner of it is much less important than what got nominated.
Yeah.
And like on that particular topic, if we're gonna go back to fucking Black Myth Wukong, which I feel like I'm putting a fucking target on my forehead by talking about it, but did you hear what how the developer? Some of the developers reacted?
Well, I heard what seemed to be actually quite a mistranslation.
It might be a mistranslation.
Yeah, it was something. From what I understood, the tone was actually more like, "Oh, we've been hyping the game up as if it's going to be the best game when it comes out."
Yeah,
for like a morale perspective, and they've been treating it as if it's going to be.
Yeah,
but they're also still like happy to be included. The whole thing about him like having written the speech.
Honestly, people write speeches for shit like that all the time, especially when you've been working on a game for 7 years. You may as well just fucking do it.
Right.
And if you use it, great. If you don't, it's just something you probably wrote in the 4 hours that you had while you were
I think if they actually
business.
felt that way, that's fucking cringe and corny shit, and just not understanding why you're doing something in the first place.
So depending on what it was, like as you described it, that's a pretty normal thing. As it reads in some ways. Sorry about the fucking lip smacking, by the way. I've been burping and I really hate that noise too. God damn, why'd you go back?
Because that's the last category.
Okay.
Close announcement.
No, yeah, you're good. I didn't realize the announcements weren't there. The Black Myth Wukong being nominated is crazy itself.
It's true.
It not winning is zero surprise. The developers, if they were upset that it didn't win after working on the game for 7 years and all that shit. If anything, I hope they learned a lesson.
That it's not worth working on a game for 7 years and expecting it to be the game.
Yeah, it's not worth making a game for a fucking awards show. Don't do that. Don't make a game for awards. That's unnecessary.
If that's like your sort of purpose. You're not doing it for the right reason.
You're not doing it. You don't need to try to prove to the world that games from your country or whatever, all that, are going to be worth it by doing it with a fucking award for some random white dude in the middle of December. What you want to do is just make your game, show your game, be happy that people recognize and enjoy your game, even if, take the criticism, take all that, and take it all together like all of the other major releases do.
Yeah.
And once you do that, then it's like, oh, not only are we included with that, we're kind of enjoying the same problems that they do, where people are buying the game, people are demanding a physical release, porting to other platforms, all of that kind of thing. And they're like advocating for the game, even though a lot of people who do that on social media are doing it for the wrong fucking reasons. Regardless, people are still talking about your product. And a lot of the time, this is what I was talking about earlier, where I wish developers and publishers would just kind of shut the fuck up and stop fucking posting on social media and talking where everybody can see it. A lot of quote unquote gamers think that the industry needs to be more transparent about the development. They don't. They really don't.
I'm telling you, Nintendo knows this industry. They know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, people shit on Nintendo. The reasons that they shit on Nintendo are the exact reasons that Nintendo's still around.
Exactly.
It's just like they know to shut the fuck up, except in their very controlled interview series.
It's just so funny because when the industry cyclically goes through these cycles, like the mass layoffs, everybody's like, Nintendo's been around for 30 years on underpowered consoles. Maybe they've got something right. And it's just like, you're so like, it's crazy how far behind you are mentally.
Yeah. Like how you're just not noticing.
Yeah. You just like, you only notice it when it's convenient.
Like they're not trying to, this is going to sound exceedingly corny, super corny. They understand that the quote unquote magic of video games is actually the experience that you're having with them, not the amount of money that they put into them, but they know you're going to pay the money for it, So when you get something that's like, oh, this game is still is releasing on 7-year-old hardware, they know it's not beyond them. They know half of that shit doesn't matter in the end. Because then you get a game like Tears of the Kingdom where everyone praises it. It's like people are wondering how the fuck they got it to work and all that shit, all that kind of shit. And they did work on the game for years. Don't get me wrong on that. But it's just like they understand the extent that they need to push to make it to people. And sometimes it goes beyond just like seeing Nintendo on the box, because they don't even put Nintendo on the front of the box anymore. If you didn't know.
Oh,
that.
Really?
They don't put it on the front of it. Check some of your newer Switch games if you have physical copies.
I don't.
Oh. Not on Tears of the Kingdom. It's not on Metroid Prime Remastered. It's not on Mario and Luigi. It's not on any of those games.
Interesting.
It's not on the front of the box. Because they want the game to speak for itself. That's all it needs to do. They don't they're not sitting there wondering, why the fuck wasn't Echoes of Wisdom nominated for Game of the Year? They don't give a fuck. They don't give a shit.
It was nominated though.
It wasn't for Game of the Year?
Not for Game of the Year.
It was nominated for like Family Game or some shit.
Yeah,
and I think
something.
Yeah, it's like they don't give a fuck. They know that they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know what point I was getting at, but Nintendo knows what they're fucking doing.
Yeah.
If you don't like what they're doing, that's a different thing, and there are other options to get to video games. So I implore you to explore those options rather than try to make Nintendo fit. Yeah,
moral incorrect.
Like, see, that doesn't make any fucking sense. If you want to play the Nintendo games, just buy the fucking Nintendo games. If you think what they're doing is bullshit, don't fuck with them. That's
never
it.
Puts its games on sale, so they don't deserve my money.
Which is so funny because I've bought many Nintendo games on sale on the eShop. Even though it's not a huge sale, like $40 as opposed to $60, but yeah, usually. Yeah, so there was something that was a lot lower. I know. Oh, I didn't buy that. Listen up. You could get a physical copy of Tears of the Kingdom on Black Friday for that week for $40, which is a pretty huge jump from the 70.
$70.
Yeah. But But yeah, not about Nintendo. This is about the Game Awards. Let's get to the announcements and.
All right. Do you just want to?
We're trying to kind of rapid fire
Turok?
these two. Turok, I don't know what kind of. It looks like a multiplayer game. I'm very curious to see. It's a third-person shooter too. It's not a first-person game like the N64 games were.
Right. People were mixed about that.
I just want to see what they're making because it's Turok as Turok was, and my assumption is we might get to see like the first Turok.
The first Turok.
Yeah. So, which is completely fine if it's multiple people because Turok is a title. It's not a name. Turok
As
means
Turok
son of
warriors,
stone.
Players will battle in co-op
Sons
or
of
single
Stone.
player.
Oh, there you go.
Power themselves up to unravel mysteries of humanity.
Does it mention the Lost Land?
I'm just reading the blurb, man. Pac-Man in the Shadow Labyrinth.
Yeah, Shadow Labyrinth. I want to play it. I will probably buy it if it's a good Metroidvania.
I didn't realize it was 2D.
Yeah, it's a 2D.
It's a true 2D Metroidvania.
Yeah. If it's a Bandai Namco game. They know how to get people to make games.
That's
so I
true.
assume it's a coin
true.
flip. It'll either be a lot of fun and kind of know what it is, or it'll be like kind of bullshit and why did you do this?
Yeah.
But I think it knows exactly what it is, and I think the whole point is to give you that feeling like why the fuck did they do this anyway? So
Outer Worlds 2 feels like a big deal.
Outer Worlds 2 is cool because it's actually happening. It's again from Obsidian, which is a Microsoft studio now, which is funny because they're also because
ZeniMax they left ZeniMax. Yeah.
They didn't even leave ZeniMax, but they worked on Fallout New Vegas for them. Got cheated out of a fucking bonus because they didn't have their Metascore was 84 or some shit instead of 85 for that holiday. It was some bullshit. And there was kind of some bad blood between those two companies, but now they're under the same roof. So they even mentioned Fallout New Vegas when they revealed the game, which is very funny to me.
That's pretty funny.
I think the first Outer World was a good. It's like a smaller open world game with the space theme. So if you're interested in what Fallout or new Fallout or Skyrim or whatever, specifically Fallout does, you can play the Outer Worlds and kind of be in and out real quick. Have a decent open world experience or open world RPG experience with some shitty jokes here and there without a too much commitment.
Not my kind of games.
Fair.
Yeah, it's not really.
Yeah, I played them for money. I didn't play them for fun. So
you play them for the website.
What?
I keep wanting
for
to call
Spawn
it secret,
First. No,
Spawn First, not secret level.
No. It wasn't for that. It was fucking for ZeniMax.
Oh,
I made that shit.
You were QAing. Isn't it more like Fallout 1 and 2 though?
What, Outer Worlds?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck no.
Which one's the one that's like
Wasteland?
Wasteland.
You're thinking of Wasteland.
I don't think I'm thinking of Wasteland.
Because Fallout 1 and 2 are isometric.
That's
RPGs.
one. Yeah, there's a game that's reasonably recent. That's by
Disco Elysium?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
of.
that's not really anything like Fallout. It just looks like it. It
No.
just has the same perspective, but it's not really anything like those games.
Oops, I've never played any.
Yeah, dumb bitch. No, I'm kidding. I'm
I
sorry.
never will.
You can there.
Yeah, but I won't.
Okay, there you go.
All right, talk to me about Virtua Fighter 6.
What'd you call it?
Virtua Fighter 6.
Okay, Virtua Fighter 6. Hype. Good shit. Cool. Very good.
What hyped you up about it? Just the fact that
it looks like there's a slight little narrative turn with it. The combat.
What is the narrative of Virtua Fighter?
There's an organization that's like fucking with the fighters and
13?
like, huh?
Organization.
No, it's called J6.
Is it really?
Yeah.
They
they like run the tournament to get data of the fight. It's not really a terribly interesting story, but and the like, have you ever seen the metal woman that is in the game? She's usually a bonus boss and she's the training dummy.
No shit about
she's the ninja's mother. But one way or another, it's about that. But this new game looks like it focuses on what the characters have been doing. Like Akira Yuki, which is usually the front of this, the main character, quote unquote, like the Ryu of the games, who ironically is usually the hardest character to play. Which is completely on purpose. It's like if you master the game, you get to be main character kind of thing, which is like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool conceptually.
Is it always by RGG?
No.
This is the first time RGG's doing
This is the first time they've done the game from the bottom, from top to bottom. The last couple of releases of Virtua Fighter 5, they've done. The PS4 version and the upcoming PC version are RGG games. But they are including some of the original developers of the original. Not Yu Suzuki, but he's like around, but he definitely looks like an old man now.
It's crazy how many games they got their hands in right now.
Yeah, for real. And they have a new game that was the Project Century.
Or whatever.
Yeah. But just to cap off Virtua Fighter, it looks like it looks heavy, it looks impactful, which are two things that some of the other Virtua Fighter games don't really quite have, despite being very fluid. And it looks like it'll retain the what should I say? The grounded kind of realism, like kung fu movie realism of Virtua Fighter.
Is that what makes Virtua Fighter unique? Is that it's like heavier and more like quote unquote realistic?
It's not. I wouldn't say it's heavier, but it's like not. There's no gimmicks. There's zero gimmicks. No meters. No anything.
Oh,
it's just like
it's just fighting.
It's like what you
as a human person.
How would you affect someone else? And if that person were like weighed about a quarter of their weight after you knock them off the ground, but that's a different thing. But yeah, all the characters are basically just representations of martial arts styles, and there's 19 characters in the current version of Virtua Fighter 5. That doesn't sound like a lot, but you can play all these characters in different ways. Like the one I play is named Vanessa. She has an offensive and a defensive stance, and that's like playing two different characters. And one person will play that character different than another person will. It's a lot of figuring out what the other player is going to do, rather than like, oh, I need to pop this comeback mechanic now or something like that. It's like, oh, I need to use this move that pushes, I know they're going to try to punch, so I'm going to use something that counters them trying to do a linear punch in my direction, and then take them around with that kind of thing. Fun games, very good games.
Cool. New game from It Takes Two people.
Cool. I'm not going to play it, but
did you play It Takes Two? I really liked It Takes Two.
I don't really have people I don't have one person that I'm going to play these kind of games with, so I don't fucking play them.
Her and I played It Takes Two.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise
really
me. Well, Split Fiction looks cool.
We'll probably play it.
That's
I'll probably
awesome.
force her to play it.
Okay.
I now have another person to choose from. The fuck was that? Why did you just do that?
Because I just realized what you were saying.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to wait a few years for that one.
Yeah, I know.
It's not like they're going to just...
like 10 fucking years.
Put a controller in their fucking hand.
Maybe I will. I never played A Way Out, though.
Yeah, I
don't really feel the need
A Way Out's ugly.
It does look pretty ugly.
This game ugly as shit. I'm glad those games get attention.
It won the Game
just not really for me. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yep.
New Onimusha.
Crazy. That's crazy.
That did seem crazy.
I'm
only
interested in playing
Onimusha
it.
game I've played.
Yeah.
Is Onimusha Tactics for the GBA.
Strange. The only Onimusha, the Onimusha I've put the most time into is fucking Blade Warriors. Do you know what that is?
I don't know shit about this franchise.
It's the fucking Onimusha Smash clone that has Zero from Mega Man Zero in it.
What?
Don't worry about it.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's okay.
Yeah, so is the Tactics game.
Yeah.
Fine. I played it because it looked stylistically a lot like Final Fantasy Tactics
Advance. Yeah, yep. You're right. I
was
remember
like,
that
it
precisely.
looks cool.
Fucking but getting a real Onimusha game after a series that used had people use real faces, had fucking what's his name, Jean Reno in number 3. It's seeing that come to RE Engine, like post Resident Evil remakes and all that. I think this is a perfect time for it. It'll probably be a new flavor of like horror game, especially while people are still into the Ghost of Tsushima style. Like,
oh, is it a horror? Are those horror games?
They're pseudo horror games.
Oh,
yeah.
I had no idea.
Like, kind of, sort of. They're not like, it's not like ooh spooky horror, but it's like, you're dealing with demons and shit.
Yeah. That's cool. I didn't know that. Kind of like Castlevania.
Sort of, yeah.
It's not horror, but it's like thematically.
I think this is more like horror than Castlevania is.
Oh, okay.
But like Castlevania's not fucking scary. You gotta be pussy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
this
can have stuff of that like that in there. Yeah.
New Sonic Racing.
New Sonic Racing, that's funny. I didn't think the other one was popular enough to get another fucking sequel, but
those games are good though.
They're fun. Yeah, they're fun. I like
one of the few franchises that have been able to go, well, not toe to toe. That's the wrong word. Yeah. But like
it exists with Mario Kart.
Exist in parallel to Mario Kart without cribbing off of it enough, but also like not shitty or weird enough.
Like Sonic Racing Transformed feels like it was doing things that Mario Kart could and should have been doing already when it came out.
Yeah.
So, like, that came out during the Wii era. It was before Mario Kart 8 came out, which you did get pseudo transformations in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 7, you had that kind of thing too. But 8 leaned into it, especially with the anti-grav and stuff like that.
Side note, do you think we're going to get a Mario Kart 9 with the Switch 2?
Eventually. I don't know about day one. Though, I think if they were to release it day one, that's it. That's the top selling game on the fucking system. That's done. That's said and done. Just like fucking Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has been on the Switch.
Yeah, I almost wonder if the main reason they didn't come out with a Mario Kart 9 since ever. I mean, it's been more than 10 years.
Yeah,
now.
Mario Kart 8, the original Mario Kart 8 came out in 2014.
We got a handful of new tracks.
I don't know about a hand. You mean since the game came out?
Since Mario Kart 8 came out.
I don't know about a handful. We've got like another game's worth of tracks.
We got...
They literally doubled the track number.
A lot of those were built for tour.
Sure, but they're
reported and up-resed and
but
all that stuff.
They're still adapted for 8. They still most people's experience with that is with 8.
I wouldn't say it's an entirely new game's worth.
Okay.
Like, it's not like they made another game.
Yeah. I don't think they made it, but...
They extended the lifespan.
Yeah, the game's got 96 tracks.
I understand. It's a big... Mario Kart 8 is a big game, but it's like they have extended the lifespan of it, and it feels like to buy themselves time for 9.
Yeah. That I completely agree with. It is definitely to hold people on to it.
Yeah.
Keep people kind of buying 8 until they're like, hey, we got Mario Kart 9. Sorry, there's only 42 tracks. Not even 42. Sorry, there's only like 36 tracks in it. But
yeah,
they also can be
8 cups probably.
Yeah,
4 tracks a cup.
It'll probably be a normal amount, and then they'll expand this one. Maybe not the same way, but
DLC pass. Whatever.
We'll probably end up with like 50 tracks in the end for 9, which is completely acceptable.
I was definitely not watching the Game Awards when they announced this, but Ninja Gaiden Rage Balance.
Yeah. Oh shit.
And the Blasphemous dev.
Yeah, the Blasphemous dev is making it. And
have you ever played any of the Blasphemous games?
Yeah, I tried the first game.
Apparently
as a
it was
demo.
Popular enough to make a second one.
Yeah, it was popular, and the feel of the game is not quite what I'm looking for. But I also am curious as to what a faster game would be like.
Yeah,
coming from
like a Ninja Gaiden game.
Yeah, because they understand the weight.
Those games are a little bit slower.
Which ones?
Blasphemous.
Yeah. The Blasphemous games are a little bit slower. Like those games take more from. I hate saying this. They take more from like the Souls kind of styling of combat, where everything is about. You do like one attack.
Yeah.
Did it land? Or you do maybe a couple of attacks. Did they land? And then
it seems like they were very intentionally trying to make a 2D Souls game.
Yeah, and then but with Ninja Gaiden, you've got the whole thing is about flow.
Yeah,
it's about keeping it moving, attacking in a way that keeps you moving forward. The 2D games, I should say, that keeps you moving forward. And I'm excited to see what they're going to do with it. And I think you're not playing as Ryu Hayabusa, but Ryu Hayabusa is like the mentor character in it and everything.
Right.
I knew as soon as I saw it that this shit was Ninja Gaiden, and I was like, oh hell yeah, okay. So I'm very into that because the first Ninja Gaiden is actually my favorite NES game.
The first one?
The first NES one, not the arcade game. Different thing entirely.
You like it more than 2 and 3?
1? Yeah. I think I don't really care for 2 and 3, which is crazy to me.
Is that normal? What's the sort of like the common take?
I think the limitation. I think some people like 2 and 3.
I feel like some people like 2 the most.
I think the thing about 1 is that the limitations on it mean like how basic it is. Means that like I can focus on just having fun with it.
Yeah.
I'm not really concerned with any of the other shit that comes with it. I'm just like, okay, let me just run from beginning to end. You can't even climb up. You have to like wall kick your way up, and that feels like a skill.
Yeah.
That you build up, which is fun. Like that, that just building up a skill in a game is a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
because you feel yourself improving, especially when you have to start the game over from the beginning and you just blow through the levels that were giving you trouble the first time, or maybe the first.
I know that
time.
What you're describing right now is actually your favorite kind of game, and I understand that. Also, why you need to fucking play.
Yeah. I knew you were gonna say that. I knew I was walking.
Slay the Spire 2 feels like a big deal too.
Feels like a big deal. I don't know anything about it.
I've never played
deck builders, so I don't have anything to say about it.
Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth's coming to PC.
Good.
Now's your chance.
That means I get to continue. That means, and I can guarantee that the third part is going to come out on PC too. I need to get a new motherboard.
I will say the
RAM,
comparisons that came out between PS5, PS5 Pro, and PC.
PC kind of
PC is kind of insane.
Yeah. I like.
They are starting to cook pretty hard for these PC ports.
If you're playing these games and you don't want to buy a PS5, I think like you're good. As long as your hardware is up to it, Which is
funny because I still remember that PS4. The main reason I bought a PS4 because I myself had never purchased a Sony console until PS4 Pro came out.
I didn't know that.
And I bought PS4 Pro for Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, okay.
And those are both Square Enix games that are almost definitely going to be PC games now. So
right.
It's interesting. It's all very interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of just like
and Sony first party is going heavy into the PC world as well.
Yeah, like
it's all very interesting.
The world you're walking into is the one where you can afford to have the PC and the Steam Deck and basically have the same experience.
Yeah.
So outside of some things.
Yeah. Getting near the end of the list, and
Witcher 4.
Witcher 4.
Cool. Not coming out any fucking time soon. It's good to know that it exists. It's good to know that Ciri is the main character. I know some losers are upset about that, but
women can't be witchers.
Even though that shit fucking happens in the goddamn fucking series, apparently.
In the books?
Yeah, it's like completely part of the thing.
I don't.
That's fine. I think as a series of RPGs, like Western RPGs, I think it has an absolute place in a world where a lot of those RPGs tend to focus on being first person, or they tend to focus on characters that you create, so you don't have as much of a personality. But this one gives you a character who's characters that are it's all about those characters.
Yeah, it's extremely fleshed out from a narrative and character perspective.
Right. Yeah.
I'm happy that exists.
Yeah.
I don't find myself ever really getting. I've tried to play it like 3 times now,
and
I just always am just like, I feel like it's just it's such a. Feels like such
it does. It is a fucking commitment. It is. And I wonder, like, I see the Witcher 3 on sale all the time. Like, I wonder should I give this another go? Because I tried playing the game with a friend a while back, and they never finished it themselves. But it was fun to just kind of fuck around with.
Yeah.
And then I played Soul Calibur 6, and Geralt was in that, so I was like, okay, this is my Witcher 3.
There you go.
But
Okami sequel.
Okami sequel is cool. Not
made Geoff Keighley cry.
Jeff Keighley's a little pussy, but the not just because it's Okami is getting a sequel. I think they deliberately didn't call it Okami 2 because Okami Den came out on the DS, whatever. But it's Hideki Kamiya who created the series in the first place. When he was working at Capcom with a team that was called Clover. Now he's since left Platinum Games, which he and Shinji Mikami were part of over the last decade or so, decade and a half about. And he left the house of Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising and all this other kind of stuff, and started a new studio called Clovers. It actually has nothing to do with Capcom, but it does have a lot of those people from Platinum and from Clover, and they're working independently, but like being contracted by other companies, kind of like they were with Platinum.
Yeah.
And
it's like Sora.
Yeah. Like Sora, like Masahiro Sakurai Sora, not Kingdom Hearts Sora.
Yeah.
And he gets to work on IP that he created and do it with a renewed sense of independence over it, like of just control over it.
Yeah.
And it's
like
that's great.
He doesn't have to go back and be like looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, like he's here with the team of people that made games that I have really liked over time, and it's, to me, it is a little bit of a shame that Platinum Games is basically going to wither away. Yeah. Like Platinum Games is fucking cooked.
It's
completely
kind of the
at this point.
Studios, though. They are the talent.
Yeah.
Like that's just how it is.
Right. And it's like that's sucks, but at the same time, the IP that they worked on outside of one, they don't own. So I've mentioned this in the group chat, but they don't own that shit.
Yeah.
So like if another Bayonetta is happening, Nintendo and Sega,
maybe they just contract Clovers.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Nintendo and Sega make that call. Platinum doesn't actually have to be any part of it because they don't own the IP. Fucking.
But if they want to make a Wonderful 102,
if you want to make Wonderful 101 again, then you got to ask Platinum. But nobody's gonna do that.
Yeah.
Nobody. That game. Every iteration of that game did not sell well. I like it. I think the game's really bad at teaching you how to play it, but I like the game.
I gave it an 8.7 on Spotverse.com.
Yeah, 8 points. No, I gave it an 8.5. I gave Wind Waker 9.7.
Chill.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. Shut the fuck up, bitch. But it's just cool.
Good, or is it a meme game?
Bitch, man, nigga.
I will say I touched Okami, and it was like fine. I played the Switch version.
Yeah.
And that's the only version I played.
The intro is really long.
It was long.
There's a lot of false starts.
Kind of whatever. It felt very. Felt mid.
Well, if you just gotta, don't use all these fucking terms, please.
It was so Rizless.
No. You kind of just have to fuck with it and see if you decide if you like are into the experience that it's giving you visually and some of the texts and shit like that.
It looked cool enough, is the way I would describe it. It was fine.
Well, whatever. I think it's a genuinely good game with genuinely good like.
What makes it so good?
Huh?
What makes it so good? Tell me on it.
It's a decently lengthy adventure with gameplay that's quite easy to play, but with the hook of the like sumie art that you have to do to draw, the celestial brush. You have to draw like bombs and grass and shit like that. And that's just.
So I probably should not have been playing it on Gamepad.
What do you mean? You can play it that way. It's a PS2 game. What?
Oh, I thought it's also a Wii game though.
Yeah,
it?
But it's originally a PS2 game. It was originally made for you to use the sticks to draw the shit.
Wouldn't it be better with pointing?
Sure, but
feels like it would make it a more interesting game.
It's just another option. I mean, on the Switch, you can use a touchscreen to do it. You just. But yeah, it's just a fun experience that no other game has really replicated that. It's not a fuck you. But
there have been plenty of DS games that have that kind of shit.
All right, so moving on.
Straight up.
Yeah, sure.
Draw the thing is the shtick. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. You got to be kidding me.
This is gonna be a waste of time to talk to you about this.
Me.
What else was announced?
My favorite game coming out.
What is it?
Borderlands 4.
I licked the fucking microphone.
I know we got some Borderlands fans.
They have
I don't really have an issue with Borderlands. I really don't like Randy Pitchford.
Yeah, I don't like Randy Pitchford, and the gameplay in Borderlands is fun. I think all the characters need to shut the fuck up. But seeing the way some of the developers have talked about it, ironically, after I said developers shut the fuck up, they are kind of outwardly saying we don't want to do like the whole pop culture references and all that kind of bullshit again.
Yeah, Hawk 2A.
Oh yeah, the gun being called like if a gun's called Hawk 2A, I'm a Hawk 2. And
he's like, I'm gonna fucking stick my hand in the grinder.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I think the games can stand to be. I think this game can stand to like take itself a little bit more straight.
I will say I think the game looks uglier than any of the
it looks,
and I don't know why that is. It just looks so generic.
They're leaning a bit away from
the typical art style.
Yeah, it's still there, but it's very much like they're looking for a more 3D looking game.
Weird choice.
And I think maybe they were banking on the movie being any good, but that movie was dog.
That is
shit.
If they were banking on the movie being any good,
yeah,
they actually deserve to have Gearbox closed permanently. I can't think of a worse bet to make. I just think oh my god. I think they thought they were going to have their fucking Avengers moment or some shit.
But even none of those fucking games really panned out.
fucking
Like
Christ.
Marvel Infinite did not fucking pan. The Avengers game did not fucking pan out. They shouldn't have tried to. They shouldn't have tried to tie. Even fucking Ratchet and Clank tried that fucking shit, and they shouldn't have tried to tie themselves anywhere near a fucking movie based on their IP. That's stupid.
Yeah, it's really
Like
fucking
it's like if we got a Mario game based on the Mario movie. I know that doesn't sound that bad, but it's pretty bad.
We got an episode of Secret Level based on Concord.
Yeah, oops. But yeah, Borderlands 4 will probably be a perfectly good
I'm sure
game.
it'll be fine. Yeah.
I'm just not terribly interested until I see.
I own a copy
moving.
of Borderlands 3 that I've never opened because I got it for free on Epic Games.
Yeah, I own 2 and 3, and it's the same exact shit. I played 1 all the way through with like Shoemate and all that.
I played 1 and 2.
Out. Yeah.
2 is good.
Two is when they started not shutting the fuck up.
The way I feel about Borderlands is the way that you were telling me about TV shows.
Oh,
where in the moment I was like, oh yeah, this is fun, and then I remember nothing about the games at all.
Like, I remember
absolutely nothing.
I remember the very beginning of Borderlands because I played it so many times with different people. But
I remember the first guy that you go and talk to, and you get the car.
Right, like
that's where
the
my
bus ride.
end.
But okay. There's a couple more things I know for sure.
The Ico and Shadow Colossus next game.
Cool. Didn't see enough of it, but very clearly built in the same style of the other games.
Yeah, like the cool head jettisoning.
Yeah, I like the weird,
cool style,
motion blurry, weighty movement. It's cool.
Yep. Elden Ring spinoff.
Very strange.
Very strange.
Very strange. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, PC. It's its own standalone game.
I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
Because it looks strange.
Yeah.
And I think people need to just fucking do different shit.
Yeah. It reminds me of Metal Gear Survive. Just the feeling that I'm getting from it. It's building a multiplayer game, like a fully multiplayer game, I should say.
A little bit different though, because Miyazaki is.
Sure.
That'd be like saying if Metal Gear Survive actually had Kojima attached.
Yeah. But it's different for sure. But I still like. It feels like they said Elden Ring was good. Let's reuse some of the assets that it's like reuse a lot of the assets that we have to make this multiplayer game. And I'm like, I don't know exactly what the purpose is, other than just I know that's why they're doing that. But what's the purpose of
like the game existing?
Yeah, you know what I mean. And it's probably
like, is it a cash grab or is it like their genuine creativity overflowing?
I think it's definitely not overflowing. I think it's
holy shit.
I think it's a mix of like seeing if something like this will catch. And if it does, then they kind of just maintain this game for a little while.
Is it live service?
I don't think so, but they could always update.
I think they said it wasn't going to be.
Yeah. But games like this, they could all I wouldn't consider Pokemon Scarlet live service, but they have like features where events happen.
It'll be cool if it's
a
very like replayable game, which feels like it has to be.
That's what it's pseudo roguelike because I think all the stuff the world generates. It generates stuff you recognize, but it puts them in random.
Yeah, I was
places.
getting almost like take Elden Ring, throw a slight RNG into it. Roguelite is fucking overused as a term right now. I'm just gonna say some randomly generated elements.
Yeah.
And feels almost like a Gauntlet take.
Like Gauntlet, like the arcade game, or
like Gauntlet Legends, or
Dark
Legends,
the arcade games,
or Dark Legacy.
Dark Legacy, yeah. I think either just like that, or
which is cool. I feel like that's actually a game / genre that we haven't really had in a while.
Yeah,
like a co-op game like that.
Well, Monster.
That is not the same shit.
It's not the same exact thing.
I mean, like a game that you kind of just blow through. You know what I mean?
like an arcade style.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Fuck, I totally forgot what the fuck I was gonna say. God damn it, Benjamin. We'll kick your ass, but it has more to do the game multiplayer. I don't fucking remember. I can move on, but I think the game will be fun. I think for people that like Elden Ring, I think it'll be good, and I think it's weird. It's just a very weird thing.
Yeah.
I appreciate that it's coming out on the older platforms too. No cross-play, just cross generation, but not cross console, which I think is a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah.
For that, but it's probably because it's being built on the same old tools that it had. Okay.
Then we got the final reveal.
Yeah. What was that?
Intergalactic. A hereditary tale. No, that's not what it's called.
It's a heretic tale. Yeah. I think that game is going to be good as shit. I'm glad it's not. I'm glad it's a new IP.
That's so glad it's a new IP.
That's all I have to say about it right now. Like all the product placement is pretty hilarious, but I think what it is will be something that you're expecting from kind of modern Naughty Dog with probably elements of games that they used to make.
Yeah.
Like they made they've mentioned that they like want to go back to some of the things they used to do. And who knows, maybe there's like some Jack 2 in it. Maybe your movement isn't grounded, weighed down. Maybe you are jumping all over the place. Maybe you're doing some crazy shit. That game will probably be, a fan favorite, an industry darling, just like a lot of their other stuff has been throughout the years. To address the losers that think.
Well, hang on real quick, just to talk about the gameplay slightly.
What gameplay?
Just what it could be.
Okay.
It's not about the gameplay. I lied. Okay. I wanted to talk about the fact that they call it a franchise.
Yeah.
And it's definitely mixed opinions because I feel like whenever they make a new IP, I don't think they do it with necessarily the intention of it being a multi-game spanning whatever, like Pantheon.
Yeah.
You think about all their best games, not their best games, but just all their IP.
Mm-hmm.
Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, Uncharted, Last of Us.
Yeah.
They are all self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely makes me nervous to go into a game expecting it to be the tip of the iceberg, so to speak.
I hear what you're saying.
And like that, I feel like that, again, not even just like a story perspective, but I think it to compare to like Sakurai, who we've talked about very briefly. When Sakurai and a lot of people, when they make a game, they basically leave it all on the table.
It's like this could be the last one.
Yeah, they take all of their ideas and they throw it all on the table.
Yeah.
And then the next game comes around and then they try to one up that.
Yeah, they're like,
and that's how
this is the time we gotta.
Yeah, and that's how
all the other ideas that we had to cut
happens.
Sure.
And I think if they go into it thinking, oh, this is part 1 of 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna be like, oh, we'll save some of these ideas for the other one.
So,
which is like. That's not
a way to do it.
That's not a way to do it.
So my thought really is calling it a franchise, doing all that, I think it has more to do with the people who are making the decisions about the marketing to lean on how Naughty Dog has already operated.
Yeah.
When they call it that, they obviously don't want to say new series, and calling a new IP doesn't sound as good.
That's true.
It doesn't sound as like it. It's not as pretty of a word as franchise.
Yeah.
So by calling it franchise, they leave the potential for it to get sequels and get other games.
And to be fair, franchise also doesn't even mean game.
Yeah, it could mean other media.
Yeah,
it could be
a show,
that they get a show based on it. It could be anything. Yeah. So I think they chose the right word. I don't think I'm worried about them making a quarter of a game just so they can make the rest of it into sequels.
It's not even just a quarter of a
game. But a quarter of the idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just like thinking that an idea is too big.
Yeah. I don't think that's happening. I think if anything, this game was probably developed in pretty much isolation from all of that.
Yeah.
And they're probably thinking to themselves, well, yeah, of course, if this does well, then we'll do another one. But I also think that they want to make this first shot the best shot that it can be, especially with something like this, especially afterward. Like,
now we can address the weirds.
Say what?
Now we can address the weird.
Oh yeah, so the weird.
They need to shut the fucking
weird
weirds
motherfuckers. These dudes who think just because a woman isn't fucking Instagram model in their fucking game is a fucking double-breasted. It's so fucking like triple-breasted, double-cheeked
ass.
It's like, come on, guys, are you really here to like? I don't understand that mentality. Maybe it's something wrong with me, but it's like I've never played a game thinking, oh, the girl's gotta be hot, and like they're all weird looking in video games because they're 3D models. Like only very recently have we been getting like face scans that look basically identical.
Are you telling me that when you were 10 years old, you weren't jerking it to fucking Lara Croft from the PS1?
I don't give a fuck.
With her triangle titties.
Fucking, if anyone was thinking about Lara Croft that way, I mean, more power to you, but you're weird. You're fucking weird. Like, huh? What? Huh? I don't understand. What
a woman should be. I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, I know. He is being sarcastic.
I just have to say it because people can't see my expressions.
Yeah. My assumption, and this is an opinion I didn't form just on my own. This is an assumption I formed up from seeing other people's videos, seeing other people talk about this kind of thing, is that it's people are yearning for a time where things were simpler for them and where things seemed like they were only for them. So seeing something or somebody that doesn't necessarily appeal directly to, like, specifically to their tastes makes them feel like someone's invading or some shit. I'm like, nah, bitch, nobody's invading. These people have been here the entire time. These games that have been like this have been here the entire time. You just don't think they were because you didn't think about that when you were younger, because why would you? You were enjoying the games you had. You were enjoying whatever was in front of you. But now you think that you're having something taken from you by somebody else, a different kind of person getting attention or getting the forefront or getting something made for them. Turns out stuff has been made for you for a long time, and other people kind of just had to deal with that and they enjoyed it too. Whereas now something is made for someone else and now you have to deal with it and find a way to enjoy it, because you might find out that it's actually just good shit. You don't need to play it one-handed. There's no one's asking you to do that shit. That's fucking weird. But none of these motherfuckers are ever happy with shit. I don't know why I'm addressing them. Gamers are fucking dumb bitches anyway.
So fucking boring.
It's really boring. It's boring. It's tired. It's
so boring
like,
to me.
Gamers,
if this character was introduced as a protagonist of like a 1980s James Cameron thriller, people would be going crazy for it in all the right ways.
Right, yeah.
So it's just there's a fucking infection.
There's an infection, and I think it's a very specific set of people that keep eating and regurgitating the same shit they read on shitty ass Elon Musk platform. Fuck that dude, by the way. Let me repeat it. Fuck Elon Musk. Sorry, Durazo. These dudes are the lamest, no-brained skid marks ever. And I'm gonna bring it back to some of the stuff I've said before. Forget about the Game Awards for a second. Gamers suck. They don't deserve to know shit. All they deserve is to have their money taken from them. And if they don't want to give their money for it, they need to go find something else to do. That's all they're good for. Paying money to people that make shit. Like corporations, independent developers, I don't give a fuck who they are. None of them are your little shitty ass friends. Your support means fucking nothing other than your money. And y'all need to shut the fuck up. Just play your games and enjoy them.
I'm going to re-up my $10 million subscription on OnlyFans.
Go ahead, fucking psycho. That's like anybody who believes they have control over the art people make because they are a consumer of that art is, especially if some of the opinions that they have about them, is an actual fucking clown. That's what a lot of these entitled gamers, as they were, are. And the only thing they're good for is feeding money into the system that they believe is taking money from them. Because you know what it is doing? It's taking money from you. You know what it's designed for? To take money from you. You know what these things are? They're products. You know what you do with products? You buy them. And if you don't like a product, you don't buy it. You're not being oppressed. You're not being politically pushed around. You're being given the opportunity to see others' perspectives through creativity. And if you've chosen to shit on that loudly and say that it shouldn't exist, like there's some things that shouldn't exist. I'll be right with you, but you know specifically what kind of shit I'm talking about. These dudes think that anything that isn't I'm just gonna say it. It's a lot of it's conservative bullshit, and that's mentally slow. reductive thing. Everything is about change. Creativity is about change. Creativity is about looking forward and looking back to make the forward an informed version of the forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what these dudes want is not that. What these dudes want is exactly the way things have been. They think that's the only thing that's there. And unfortunately...
And then they complain about Astrobot winning.
Yeah, exactly. They complain about Astrobot winning. This is going back to Black Myth Wukong and how a lot of these people treat that game and Stellar Blade. A lot of these motherfuckers likely didn't play those games. A lot of these fuckers, when they talk about those games, don't understand what those games are doing. They understand.
I watched a whole long play of it.
I watched 2 videos from like they're seeing what's on the screen and believing that that's not the norm. When in reality, somebody made a good point. I don't remember what their fucking name was. Like a lot of women have been fighting to not be presented the way Stellar Blade presents them.
Yeah.
And then a game comes out like Stellar Blade, and it's like all these dudes want that undone without realizing that there's so many video games. There's so many video games out there. There's so many different choices. They still have those games that they think are like, you know, tits and ass and all this kind of shit. They exist. I don't even remember where I was going with it. I just think that
dude was hanging out with Neil Druckmann and was like praising all the games that he's made.
So funny.
It's really funny.
Neil Druckmann's got some problems too, but
nobody's flawless.
Huh? Nobody's flawless, but I think his flaw is pretty significant in this regard. But I'm not going to get into that right now.
But again, you just think with your wallet.
You understand that you're nothing to these companies. You're nothing. They don't care what you have. They don't care what you get. They just care that money from you is going to them. Some of honestly, the developers want the best experience that they can give you. Guaranteed. I can say that personally. I think the people that do end up buying a game deserve the best experience they can get. Guarantee. I mean that. But at the same time, I think those same people need to just make proper decisions on where to spend their money and understand that what they're buying is the same thing as buying like a deck of cards. They're not buying their childhood. Their memories are theirs. Their experience they have, the experience they make with these products is theirs. The company isn't
a 500-piece puzzle that somebody laser cut and put in front of you.
Yeah, like the company is not responsible for that part of the experience. It's up for you to grow the fuck up. Not you specifically. I mean, yeah, you too, but it's up to these people to grow the fuck up. Understand they're not going to get the same feelings that they got when they were a kid. Understand that other people that aren't them exist, and understand that an entertaining experience doesn't necessarily have to be one that meets all of your like expectations and needs, quote unquote, wants as a type. Like all your fantasies don't need to come true with every fucking thing, every entertainment product. And if we want to treat this fucking medium like an art form, we need more people that are willing to tell these like parasites to shut the fuck up loudly. We need to be and like if a game developer is going to say anything, I'd love for them to say, "Yo, shut the fuck up. We're going to make the game we want. If it sells like shit, that's our problem, not yours. Don't fucking give us the free Stellar Blade bullshit, morons, fucking dumb bitches." But on the other side of it, there's so many people enjoying games now that a lot of different games have a chance. You know what I mean? Some games will not catch, some games will, some games blah, blah, blah. But playing video games has become a more ubiquitous act, a more ubiquitous activity. More people do it. And while the industry is suffering from problems when it comes to growth, I think we're at an inflection point where there's so many different kinds of customers that if developers, publishers adjust their expectations and are like, we reached 1 million people, that's enough. We're in a good place. If we're in a place where we need to reach 20 million people to break even, that's fucked. And that shouldn't be rewarded so often. That should be rewarded maybe here and there, but that shouldn't be the expectation. Like Astrobot might not have had the highest budget. It definitely had a high budget. Don't get me fucking wrong. But Astrobot might not look like these other high budget games, but that's a good thing. The fact that it's being recognized for what it is and what it could represent for the industry at large, that's a fucking good thing. If Metaphor got it, I would say the same thing. If Black Myth Wukong got it, not saying that Chinese developers shouldn't exist, not saying that they shouldn't have made that game, but I think that the lesson that they really needed to learn from that is that putting a ton of time and a ton of money into something does not necessarily mean that you deserve the highest accolade. You know what I mean? That like money and time are you're gambling.
Yeah.
You're putting effort in and you're doing the things that you need to do to make this thing whatever it is. But if you miss the mark, like, which I think that game, most of that went into the presentation, and a game is more than just its graphics. A game is more than just its sound and voice. A game is more than just the culture that is around it. A game is about interactivity. And if your interactivity is like 2-note, then you're gonna have to try again. If you're making games to get awards, then you're gonna have to figure out what wins an award. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, just make what you want. Make what you want to make, and accept that people love the thing. You don't need to be number one. Number one is a fake thing. The top is a fake place to be, because you can be on top and a ton of people will start turning against you. People turn against every Zelda game that comes out. People turn against every Game of the Year winner that comes out. People turn against Skyrim. It's you're good. Like, don't worry about it. Okay, I've spoken enough.
All right. Did I tell you about a dream I had for a new kind of game? I'm not gonna say it here. Don't steal it.
I'm not gonna steal it. But yeah, we can talk about it.
Do you have a Hierophants?
Do I have a Hierophants? No. It's hard for me to think about that when there's just other stuff going on. So
we are over an hour and a half.
Yeah, so we gotta start winding it up. Yeah.
All right. You like this shit? Give us a like, comment, subscribe, hit us up, tag us on social media.
Yeah. Well,
shout our praises on X, the Twitter, everything.
We're not gonna check there either.
Go to Blue Sky and hashtag memory leak us. We're on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, YouTube. I think that's it. Yeah, I think you got it. memoryleakpodcast@gmail.com.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Till next time, gamers. We don't
Later.
talk to you. Have a great fucking holiday.
Later.
Although I think we have one more before.
I think we have one more before.
All right.
Later.
Deuces.
Later.